What's up, Glass House? This is your commish, D's Nuts, and I'm here for the Week 3 recap. Um, this week in football featured several. And when I say football, I'm talking about our fantasy league football. Featured several blowouts. We had one, two games that were 20 points or less, and the rest were just beat downs, man. I guess this was a week for blowouts. In a couple of my other leagues, it was a lot of blowouts too. Um, let's see who was on the winning end and who was on the losing end. We'll start off with D's Nuts versus Deshaun. And Deshaun, we both came into this game 1-1. And man, I hit you up, man. I told you you can't compete with no starting running backs in your lineup. So, buddy, you need to fix that. You might need to make some trades or something, because you can't survive getting 110 points. That's how many points you scored. I scored 161. I had to rub it in his face, you know what I'm saying, because we had a little conversation before. Anyways, it wasn't a whole lot to discuss in this one because Deshaun, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with single digits. And if you know me by now and what my rule is, if 5 guys score single digits on your team, that equals L. So, Deshaun, you picked up the L this week, uh, dropping your record to 1-2, and of course these nuts improves to 2-1. Next matchup, the biggest blowout of the week, was Florida Cheeseheads versus Team Dubes. Team Dubes, you had a 1-1 record coming in. Florida Cheeseheads, you had a heartbreaking loss last week with the tiebreaker, but you came in 0-2. And this week you was pissed off. I know it. I know you were pissed off, man. I know it. You scored the league high for the week, 172 points, and old Dubes over there didn't even break 100. He had 98 points. But believe it or not, 2 teams scored lower than you do, so you did not get low score of the week. You just had the biggest deficit of the week with 74 points. Dubes, you had 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with single digits. That wasn't the problem. The problem was you had 2 of those guys with 0. You started Gronk, who had 0. Ryan Matthews had 0. Your kicker had 4, and Macklin had 7. On the other side, Florida Cheeseheads had a well-balanced attack. Only one guy in single digits. A lot of people, he had like 4 people with 20 or above. So, Florida Cheeseheads, congratulations, man. You get your first win of the season, improving to 1-2. Dubes, you dropped to 1-2. Next matchup, we got the CMR Canes versus the Rick Way. This is a funny matchup because CMR Canes, which is the Hurricanes, is coached by the Rick Way, and the Rick Way showed them who the coach was. You know what I'm saying? Rick Way came into this matchup 0-2, CMR Canes 1-1, but the Rick Way blew the CMR Canes out 142-85. For CMR Canes, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with single digits. You already know 5 guys with single digits equals L. So that's how you picked up your loss this week. Even though the Rick Way had Ivory with 2, Charles Clay with 0, Catanzaro gave him 4 points. He still had some really good performances with Winston, 35. Ingram gave him 22. And he picks up his first victory of the year. So, Scott, you improved to 1-2. And CMR Canes, Tony, you dropped to 1-2. Next matchup, we got La Spina versus the B team. This was the closest game of the week. This game was determined by only 7 points. La Spina, you came into the week 1-1. B team, you brought your perfect record to the game, 2-0, and your guys just forgot to show up today, man. This week, I should say. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them with single digits. I don't have to go over the rule. You already know what it is. Your high score was the Vikings with 40 and Matt Ryan with 26. Other than that, Jimmy Graham gave you 20. Everybody else just shit the bed for you. Laspina, you had an impressive performance, but you had a solid team effort. Most of you guys scored in double digits except for one, Stephon Diggs, who I guess had a hangover from last week. He only gave you 8 points, but hey, it was more than enough to pick up the win. And I think the difference in this game was the C.J. Anderson, D'Angelo Williams only giving B team 8 and 4 points. And Julio only giving them 2. Monday Night Football, you would think Julio was going to show up versus New Orleans, and they did a hell of a job on him, man. He had 1 catch the whole game. So, Laspina, you improved to 2-1, and B team, you dropped to 2-1. Next matchup, this was another close game. It was Braveheart versus the Juice Box Sippers. And Braveheart, you were able to pull this one out, 108-89. It wasn't that close, but it wasn't a real true blowout like how the word is implied. So I mean, but it was closer than a lot of these other games. I tell you what, Braveheart, man. Once again, following the theme of the Cowboys, when they win, you win. So even though you only scored 108 points and you played the Juice Box, who had 89, you still won. So it ain't much to talk about, Braveheart, because you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with single digits. The problem is the Juice Box didn't have a single player on her team with 20 points. So, Braveheart, you improved to 2-1, and Marie and the Juice Box Sippers, you dropped to 0-3. Girl, you might need to change that name or change your concept or something. Stop picking up all these players every week and stick with a group of guys and see how they work out for you. Because all these moving players just don't seem to work. Anyways, last matchup, P-Lo versus the Glass House Bandits. And both of you guys came in here with a 2-0 record. So somebody had to pick up their first L for the season. And the winner for the first L goes to, drum roll, there ain't no need for no drum roll, man. This was a blowout, man. P-Lo blew out the Glass House Bandit, man. 165-103. Glass House, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with single digits. You can't win like that, especially Kevin Benjamin giving you a 0. You got your third string running back, Kenyon Drake, and there was 6. Will Fuller gave you 6. Jesse James 3. Muhammad Sanu gave you 6. And P-Lo didn't have anybody in single digits. So P-Lo, you keep the streak alive, improving your perfect record to 3-0. And Glass House, you pick up your first L for the season, dropping to 2-1. All right. I know it's a bunch of Dove fans in here, so y'all know it's a Thursday night game between the Dolphins and the Bengals. If you got players playing on Thursday night, set your lineups, man. Set your lineups. You know what I'm saying? Make some good decisions. And good luck, everybody. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.